All right, can you see this? The PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, welcome. I hope you guys all have had a decent drive getting there, because I know over here we're getting a lot of rain. So I'm sure it's pretty wet there. I'm going to talk tonight as doing an introduction to LucidChart. I don't know how many of you know this about this program, but you can see from the little diagram on the left, it is a program that is used to make charts. And for us as genealogists, most often those charts are family trees. And there's so many times when you get a little bit of information and then you get more and more, and you need somehow to be able to visualize it. And LucidChart allows you to do that. And it's really very simple. So it's a web-based platform. So it can be used by both Macs, PCs. It can be used any place because you have an account, so that you don't have to have your computer. You can go to the library and pull it up. You can use it on your own computer. It allows you to create diagrams and charts, such as family trees, timelines, mind maps, Venn diagrams. And this is one for my family. I'm there in the second generation, and this was mapping the matches back to Nancy Ann Matthews, who was born in 1832. The cost of LucidChart. All right, first of all, there is a free version. And the free version allows you to do 3 editable LucidChart documents with up to 60 shapes and 100 templates. This little chart next to me has 20 shapes on it. So you can see with 60 shapes, you can get a nice little family tree. But if you're using the free version, you will probably have to export them and start over again if you don't want to pay for the the paid version. The individual subscriptions are monthly, so you could subscribe for a couple months because you need to use it and then stop. It's $7.95 a month, and you get everything from the free subscription. But you, in addition, get unlimited editable documents and unlimited objects per document. You get 1 gigabyte of storage, which is a lot. And there are also some premium shape libraries. LucidChart is used in business a lot to make things like organizational charts, or to show a project and how things are related to each other. It is something, as I said, that genealogists have picked up on because it makes very nice family trees. This is when you get your account, which you could start off with a free account, there is a difference between the free account and a free trial of the paid account. The free trial of the paid account gives you everything, but is only good for 7 days. The free account is good forever. So you can see that when you start off, you will see a blank canvas. It's got grids on it, which you can change the size, but that helps you align things. And at the first thing you want to do is up at the top there where it says blank diagram. It's really easy to leave them all saying blank diagrams, and then you get confused with what you've got. The family, I changed this one to my family tree, and you can see next to it, I can star it so that it stays at the top. and it says draft. You can click on that if you want to change it to this is a draft or this is the final version if you have several of them. There are shapes. Now, as I said, you use this in business a lot, so you'll see flowchart shapes that are used to describe procedures. And we use most often the square or the rounded shape to make each of the individuals on the chart. And there is a grid on your that you can change the size of so that you can align things easier. At the very top, you have a bar, and I'll make it bigger for you, that's used to change the shapes or the lines to look how you would like them to look. You can choose, like with Word, you can choose and set up a body or a headline, but you can also choose a limited number of different fonts that you can use, but you can increase the size. You can have bold, italic, underlined. You can change the color of what you type in. You can align it. Here you can see where you can do it's either centered or right or left justified. You can add more, add a type with this T. You can use this here to fill shapes with colors or a picture, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can use this icon to make lines different colors. This part over here is kind of interesting because what you have here is all of your shapes in a family tree are adjusted by lines. And you can make different kinds of lines here. They can be a solid line. Maybe you decide that you want the link between a parent and child to be a solid line, and the link between husband and wife to be a dotted line. And so you can change that type of line. You can also set it up with a jump if you're doing Leah Larkin recently has been talking about a banyan instead of just a tree because of such as in Jewish research where you have people that are interrelated in many different ways. You can change the size of that line so it's thicker or thinner. And then over here is the beginning and the end of the line. And that seems to be one of the things people get confused at the very beginning, because most of the time when we're doing a family tree, we don't want it to have an ending that's an arrow. We want it to be none. We want it to be a straight line, but you could choose any one of these. So when you take a shape, you're going to pull a shape from this and pull it onto your grid, and it looks like this. It's really easy. Up here at the top, there's an area where you can, if you click on this, it will let you change that shape. So maybe the chart you're doing, you want to use squares for men and triangles for women, or squares and circles. You can click up here and you can change that without going down here and having to pick another shape. You can take that shape and use this double arrow to twirl it around so it can be vertical, horizontal, or off kilter. These corner squares allow you to make it bigger or littler. And these circles right here are where you're going to join one chart to, or one shape to another shape. So here's one where I've put in a square and I clicked on that middle little shape and drag it down, and up pops this menu. which allows me to choose another square, giving me something like this. All right. You can reshape the shapes with the corners. You can rotate the shapes using the double arrow. I went too far. There we are. Okay. One other thing you can do is work with type. You can put text inside the boxes. The text can be adjusted by font, by size, by color. You can click on the line and you can add information that you want there. If this was John Smith, who was married to both Mary Black and Susan Jones, I can click in the middle and I can put that this is the first wife and they married in 1840. I could also drag that up or down and it will be very close, but not exactly on the line. And it is actually attached to the line so that if you drag that line, the box out and the line gets longer, the type that you put in there will stay with the line. One of the easy ways to get started with LucidChart is to use a template. And there are a lot of templates. Over here, you can see at the top, you could click on New, and you could do a new LucidChart, or you could do a chart from a template. This Lucid Spark down here is an online collaborative way to work in groups. And so I don't use that, and I don't know anybody uses it for doing this. But if you choose from template, you'll see there are a lot of different, I hit back where I am. All right, there are a lot of different templates that you can choose from, or categories you can choose from. But I put in family tree, and you'll see that there are some templates for a number of different family trees in different formats. And this is just a very pedigree chart like you'd see out of most programs. So you can see there's a lot of choices there that you don't have to create it. It's already created and you can work with what's there. So if you chose this chart, and you can see that it came with pre-populated people in it. Well, I might want to put my own person in. And when we do the live demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can just replace those people that are there, or you can fill in a person in a blank area so that your chart has pictures in it. It works the same way with other family tree charts that they have. And you can use this and change the image by selecting it and putting in clicking on replace image. And you can replace that image that's in this chart. So you can see there's a lot of nice things. You click on where it says maternal grandmother, and you can type in the name of your maternal grandmother. This is a chart that is a timeline, and it is a template that you can add dates to and add events to. Now, this one is set up for steps, a timeline for doing something. This is a template chart that Leah Larkin created. And I will put a link in just a little bit in the, well, you're probably not going to see it. I put it in the chat zone, but I can send it to you for if you can get it. But you could create this yourself. What she does to make her charts make more sense. First, you'll see a few things. She uses double lines to show marriage. She uses straight lines to show the descendants. And she does uses it for DNA, and she colors all of her different shapes by the kind of the colors that they use for the companies. Ancestry has kind of a green color. 23andMe is kind of this violet color. MyHeritage is this orangey color. And Family Tree DNA is a peachy color. So you can fill each of these, there would probably be these people down here, with the different chart colors from where they had their DNA testing done. So I'm going to stop sharing this and open up, just a second. I am going to share this screen. All right. Do you see my screen? That's the actual. Okay. This is live LucidChart, and you can see a number of things that I have done. I keep her chart up here. That's Leah's. And I want to show you several of them. This one, to open it up, you just click on open. It takes just a second and it loads in. You can see that I've got Nancy Ann Matthews up here, the 3 children we know about, and the descendants from those 3 children. To get back to all of the charts that I've created, you click over here on this little symbol, and that brings you back to the first chart. All right, let's look at this blank diagram that I never changed the name on. The way you change a date name, you click up here, and I can change this to sample diagram. I can star it. I can, this is just a little thing that I created. You can select it like this and move it around the screen. You can move it anywhere you want it to be. I can click right here and draw a line. And let's say I want to put this shape there. I'm going to copy it and paste it and put it right underneath. If instead I just double click, it just creates one. In that case, it created too many. All I have to do is click on them and delete them. Anything I don't want. Now you'll see it says Terminator, because in the tech world, that shape is used to say an end of something. But I can click on this and put my sister's name in there. In the chart. Now I can take these charts and I can do lots of these shapes and do things with them. I can click on this shape and I can go up here to the line color and I can say, well, I want it to be a red line around it. Well, now it has a red line. I can then click on it again and say, all right, I'm going to fill it with yellow. I have different colors and shapes. I can do the same thing with the lines. I can click on them. I can go up here and I can change the line color so that I can make it say what I want it to say. Now notice up here, it's got none. When I click on that, I could have an arrow. I'd have to select that and change that to an arrow. It now has an arrow. I can go back. I can change it to no shape at all, because that's how I want my lines. Maybe I'd like all the lines to be thicker. So I click on this and I go up here and I say, well, I'm going to make them a whole lot thicker. So I now have thicker lines. So there's lots of things that you can do with this to change it and to make it more like you would like it to look. All right. Now, let's go back to the shapes and choose a different one. I'm going to choose this one here, which is a template. And it's kind of small. So if I want it to be bigger, I usually only have to double click on it to make it bigger, but for whatever reason, it didn't want to. But here I have the ability to make it bigger or smaller. Now, this one was made by somebody else, and it just has pictures on top of the circles that were there. Well, I don't like that. I'm going to go back and I am going to choose this one. All right. Now, I want to put a picture here under maternal grandmother. I can click there and choose replace image. And there is an image of my husband's grandmother. Now I look at that and I think, oh, well, it doesn't look quite like I would like it to. So I'm going to scale it to fit. Let's make it fill it. There, that's better. Now she looks better in there. So I could put in, replace this image with a picture of a man. And I want that. Scale to fit. And needs to get up. Stretch it a little. There, it fits in better. I might pick a better picture to do that when I was working on it. But here to work with the templates, I go up, I click on this, I double click, and I can say this, or let's say James Smith. Oh, it's kind of not doing right here. So I'm going to click again, and I'm going to click right there, and I'm going to put shift return, and that will make it up horizontal instead of vertical, and it will be able to fit in there. I can do on any of these, I can double click on them and change the wording on them. All right, let's go back again. Why am I not seeing that? It's always great when you do it with, well, let's just switch back that way. All right. Let's look at a couple other things. This was one that I started working on, and this is a timeline that they had for Disneyland. Well, I wanted to use it for a land record. So this is how I started. I just went in and I started replacing the icons. I'm going to get out of there. And changing what it says on them. So I could scoot around on here. I could take this timeline, change all the dates, change the pictures, and change what was written at the top to be a timeline that I wanted to work with. All right, let's look at a couple different kinds of things that I've worked on. Okay, this one. This one doesn't have a picture in it. It doesn't have a picture that says to replace the picture, but I want to put that picture in here. So I'm going to click on the shape and I'm going to go up here to the fill shape here, and it says I can do solid, radial, all kinds, but I can choose image. And I'm going to choose an image, and I'm going to go back to the lady I had and choose her image. And then I can put pictures in these. So if what you want is to create a nice, pretty chart that you want to use, say, to put up on the wall, you can do this way. If you want to work from scratch, then you're going to go up here to new, you're choosing LucidChart, and you're choosing a blank document. And in a second, there's my document. I want to use a shape. I'm going to pull the shape up here to the top because this is going to be the grandfather of mine. I'm going to make it long and skinny, and I'm going to write in here great grandfather. I'm going to take that and I'm going to make the men blue in this chart. Now here again, I've got black lines. I could change their size. I'm going to double click here, and that's going to create, well, one click is all I needed. If I wanted to have more kids, I can click more. And there's something wrong with those lines. They all have that arrow. So I can select the whole thing, go up here to the end point and change it to none. And then I have my great grandfather with rectangles next to it. All right, if I want to delete them, I'm not going to delete that part. I'm going to click on these and I'm just going to hit the delete key. So instead of going upward, I'm going to go like a vertical chart would be. And so I'm going to click right here, and I've created a rectangle. Oh, I still need to change that. I need to change that to none. And I can take that rectangle and I can move it pretty well anywhere I want. If this is going to be my grandfather, and I can then come up here and I'm going to create another per square. This is going to be my grandmother. And this one, instead of being blue, I'm going to change it. And come on, Phil. Let's make it sure it's. Well, we'll get it. Sometimes these things can be confusing. So let's start off by making there. And I'm going to get rid of my endpoint. And I don't have any lines or anything on this. All I've done is write something there. I did so I'm going to delete it because I don't like that. And I'm going to do something that makes things pretty easy by clicking on this one and copying it and pasting it. And just move it over here so that it's, and you see as you move it, it shows the pixels and you can change it. You can arrange it exactly as you would want. And if you move things around, it moves around on the screen. All right, now I'm going to make that a pink, and I'm going to change what's inside to grandmother. I'm going to change the type here. Now, look, you don't have lots of choices. It's not like a word processor. but I can choose something a little different. I could choose something you can see here that's a little different too. So you can choose different kinds of type to use for your pictures. You can, there I'm getting a couple more children. Now, sometimes, and you'll see what has happened to me is that it isn't sticking the endpoint, and I've had to change it. And that sometimes happens when you do this. So it now says rectangle. And what else would I want to do with that? I might want to press return in my, press shift return, giving myself a little bit more room. And I can say, this person shares 125 centimorgans with me. And I'm going to be here, but look, there's not enough room there. And these two should be together. So let's see what we can do to put them, a mother, grandmother, and grandfather. Shouldn't have a line there. So I'm going to get rid of that line. And I'm going to give the grandmother a different style line. I'm going to give her a dotted line between here and there. Can you tell it's dotted? Let's make it a bigger dot. All right, so now the grandmother and grandfather, and you can see when I make it smaller, the line. This is really very simple. And I hope, how many of you have tried using this? Has anybody there tried doing something with LucidChart? It's so simple to move these things around and to add additional ones. If you want to, you can select a whole group like that, and you can copy it and paste it, and you can put it over here. So you, and then it's like, okay, this great grandfather needs to go up a little, and then I'm going to join it there. So you can see where you can make lots and lots of changes, and it's very easy to create things in LucidChart. You can also do a couple other things once you have finished it. One of them is up here. You can click on share, and you can either have a link that shares with maybe your daughter or your brother. You want to share your diagram and have them work on it with you. You can either put their email address, and it says they can edit and share, or you can get a shareable link, copy the link and email it to the person, and then they can go in and they'll see your chart and be able to add and adjust things on your chart. Let me show you a couple other things. This is adding a comment, and you can add a comment. You can say, like, I'm going to put it right there. And what's my, whoops, that added an actual shape. I clicked too many times. Let's drag the comment down. And I want to write something about this person. I want to say, grandmother lived most of her life in some place, and I put comment. And you now have a comment that you can click on and see, so that as you work, you can add comments, or you can, if you were doing on something having to do with DNA, You could mark people and say, those are the people that you want to try to get tested. There really isn't too much more for me to share with you about LucidChart. If you have the paid version, you can add a new page and go back and forth between one page and another and do a series of charts. You can, you can put pictures in anytime. You know, I added that one picture, but I could do something like here and say image, and I'm going to put this picture, and let's just shrink it down some. And maybe this is a chart about this man. I can also click on this and turn it some, or if I want to turn the, whoops, I'm not seeing the edge. Gotta make him a little smaller again and make him tippy a little. I'm using the mouse and just scrolling in and out to increase or decrease the size. Isn't this easy? It makes charts very easy to create. Do you have any questions or specific things that you'd like to do?
All right. Does anybody have any questions for her on LucidChart? All right. I don't know if you're able to see anybody.
I'm going to show right here. You can also do file, new from template. And you saw the ones that I had. You can pick all kinds of templates. And you can make charts like, let me, I put one in the, this guy. This is just a newsletter. And you can click in here and write things. You can type in here. You can change the pictures. You can make a newsletter. You can make all kinds of things with LucidChart. But I feel that the biggest advantage to it is being able to make those family trees and figure out how your people are similar or different, are related. Here, this is Meshach Matthews, and I want to show you that because this is a huge chart. And when I printed it out, it takes a lot of pieces of paper. So, did you have some questions?
Sounds like you've done a really fine job, Pam.
Well, I hope that you can, let me, well, when you double click, let's zoom in here. See, I just put in a little shape and said, needs to prove George Salas, son of Charlotte Matthews, this entire area of Charlotte and Rogers Salas children needs work. Because this part here, I need to work on. So I put just a little thing in there so that when I come back later, I can work on it.
Hey, how do you come, where do you find that?
Pardon me?
Where do you find that? How do you get to it to order it?
You don't order it. You can go home tonight. You go to LucidChart.com.
It's in the browser.
It's not something that it is an online program.
Right.
So like if I come here and I put in LucidChart, this is LucidChart.com. And here is the first page. Now I'm already logged in, but if I log out of it, then it says they'll see me soon. I could create a new account with Google or Slack or Office 365, and I would have a new account. So all you, oh yes, see now it wants me to log in because I didn't. And there I'm back in. So go home, look at, just go to LucidChart.com and you can start a free account and you can play around with it for a little while and decide whether or not it is providing you something that is useful. As I said, these are, I mean, some of these are ones that I use for samples, but you know, there are a number of charts. This was one that I used for doing finding a father, an unknown father. And this I did with the colors. All of the women have pink colors and all of the men are in blue. I didn't put in the spouses. I just put the direct lines, and the colors are from where they took their DNA tests and the different DNA and amounts to discover who was the father of Norman.
Any other questions?
Makes total sense.
They won't have any questions, Jamie, until we,
Until they try.
They won't call.
Well, it really is very easy, and the handout shows you the basic stuff to get started. You just have to go in and get a free account. Going back to here, there is, let's see, I don't want to log in. I'm going to do sign up. And oh, I already paid the $7. This is they have some ones that are more expensive. None of you would want the team or enterprise because unless you're doing something like a city study of everybody who was in the city or something like that. But there are a number of plans and you can look them, buy them. And as I said, you can do the paid one for just a couple months if you wanted to do a particular chart, and you can take these and you just select the chart and you copy it and you paste it into a Word document. It's easy to put, you can go up here to edit and copy, and then go to your Word document and paste it in. Really easy to use. Any more questions?
thank you very much, Jamie.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It sounds like you got quite a crowd, or at least a crowd.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing. And I can see some of you out there. And you have my information on there. Thank you very much. And I'm going to leave. Bye-bye.
Her name is Jamie Lee McManus Mayhew, and she's from Course Gold. And she has, we first brought Jamie here for a Zoom program back in May of 22 when she did, her program was, Is It Time You Started Using Timelines? If that sounds familiar. I did want to talk to you just briefly about what we have coming up. Our speaker for March the 7th for our March program will be Dallas Patty. Dallas last joined us in May of 2020 when she brought her program Tales from the Tomb. Now, to say that Dallas is a unique individual would be an understatement. If you have not been to one of her programs, her March presentation will be on 19th century mourning wear. So then on April, hopefully, we'll be back with another Zoom presenter. And we'll see if we can't work it out before then, the problems that we had tonight. Jolene Atkins from the Pacific Northwest, the coast of Washington State. Her program will be on an introduction to Percy, and it's spelled P-E-R-S-I, and that stands for Periodical Source Index, which is the premier subject index for genealogy and local history periodicals. Now, that may not sound very exciting, but I think if you went to the website, which I found just going through Google and putting into Google P-E-R-S-I, trust me, you won't want to miss either one of these programs, but that is a very interesting program in itself. And the access to all kinds of genealogical periodicals that go way back. So that is something else that you might want to check out before. Those programs will be for March and April. Lastly, I still have a sign-up sheet if somebody would like to provide some after-meeting snacks. Sharon, my wife, has provided them for tonight, and they're almost fresh from the oven yet. She made them this afternoon, and we have been testing them, and they are good. So enjoy a snack back here, and hopefully we'll see you here next month. Thank you.